Good morning and thanks for joining me on this Sunday, the week after Easter. I just love the story of the woman whose husband had been asked by the priest to do some rewiring in the loft of the church. And the only way to do that rewiring was to enter the loft via a trapdoor behind the altar and crawl over the ceiling, balancing on the rafters. Now, concerned for her husband's safety, the woman waited in the pew below. Now, unbeknown to her, some visitors had entered the church and they paid no attention to her, believing she was praying. But worried for her husband, she looked up the ceiling and said, "Sam, are you up there? Did you make it okay?" And you can imagine the visitor's reaction when Sam's hearty voice echoed back down, "Yeah, I made it up here just fine." Well, for those of us who have lost someone we love to death, it is comforting to know that they made it up there okay. When C.S. Lewis lost a dear friend, he wrote that heaven was no longer a strange place because now his friend was there. And when his dear wife Joy died, he said the same thing. Heaven was now closer because Joy was there. And that's why what we celebrated last week is important. It's not simply a celebration of something that took place a long time ago. The fact is, Easter is about two important days in our life, and that's today and tomorrow. Can we count on having a tomorrow? Always. Will we ever run out of tomorrows? No. Maybe we should add that song from Annie to our Easter repertoire. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. You're only a day away. Because of what Christ did, our lives matter, and we will always have a tomorrow. Easter then is hope, but it's also about change, and Peter plays a major part in all of this. He was the one who was always saying the wrong things, and yet he changed. He became the driving force in the early church. How did it happen? How can you explain such a change? How did these frightened, confused and troubled folk change? For that's how the Easter story begins, with confusion, with uncertainty, and indeed with doubt. What I love about the Bible is it tells it as it is. They all thought it was nonsense. It was rubbish. Dead men stay dead. They knew that. We know that. So what changed? How did it happen? How can you explain such a profound change in a human being? How did these frightened, confused and troubled people change it? The Easter story begins with confusion, with uncertainty and with doubt. One of the best proofs of the resurrection was the change it made in those who experienced it. None of them up to that point had shown themselves to be brave before the resurrection. They were hiding, they were cowering behind closed doors in fear. But after the resurrection, they became fearless. Fearless witnesses, willing to give, willing to die for their belief that Christ had been raised from the dead. The proof that Christian faith is real is in fact surely also in the effect it's had on people down through the ages. As we said last week, the Lord is risen. He is risen indeed. God bless you and thank you for listening to me today.